Good evening, everybody, and welcome live. My name is Fintan Cullen. Welcome to It's Time to Talk. Folks, tonight's show is very disconcerting. We've got a woman coming on the show with us in a while, and she's going to be talking about her son, Shannon House, who is missing, okay? Now, Linda Richardson, my co-host, will be along in a while, and we will have the mother of this young man. Well, he's in his 30s, but he's a young man, and she will be calling in a couple of minutes' time, not just now, to let us know about what's going on. Family seeks information about missing person Shannon House. Folks, there's a link there on top. Please click on that link. Go on there. Have you seen Shannon House? Do you know about his case, his story? Missing Shannon House, age 39. He's brown eyes, brown hair. He's 5'11", weighs 325 pounds at one point. He could be heavier or lighter now, and he's missing from Trinity County. Okay, there's lots more to this story tonight, folks. I want to ask you, please start your watch party right now. Start your watch party. Get your friends' names in the comment section. All advocates that are listening this evening or today in America, please share this live stream on all your advocacy pages. It will be uploaded to them pages later on, but for now, please upload. And if you're an advocate, we want you to help. If you want to know what an advocate is somebody who helps find missing people by sharing their posts. So that's what we ask of you. So first thing on the agenda tonight is start your watch party right now if you can do. Put your friends' names in the comments section. And if you are watching for the very first time, please put the words first timer in, what county you are viewing from, what country you are viewing from. Okay? Tonight is a special case of Have You Seen Missing Man Shannon House? If you click on the very top link, folks, you'll be able to go into the event page tonight, see who our guests are, who we're talking to, and stuff like that. So Linda is going to call in now. We're just waiting for Linda and our guest to be on the show tonight. I'll allow the guest introduce herself. So we're just waiting for that. Please stay with us. Remember, folks, we're asking you to share your watch party this evening. We're trying to get some information about Shannon House, the disappearance. We've got the full story from his mom, and she'll be on the line in just a couple of minutes' time with my co-host this evening, Linda Richardson. So we're just waiting for those to ring in. Remember, you can start your watch party. If you don't know how to start a watch party, folks, please put your friends' names in the comments section. You might want to stream this live on various advocate pages. Please do that. We'll have a look here and see if I can find. I'm unable to find earlier on the 1 second. Okay, we've got a call coming in right now. Just bear with me while I accept the call. 1 second there now. My name's Fintan, and this is Let's Talk. You're very welcome to the show as we take our guests live on air this evening. We're just waiting for the call to come through from an undisclosed destination for the safety of all concerned. Please stay with us, and remember, start your watch party right now. We're just waiting for this call to load. The internet is very, very bad. Please bear with us while we try and make that happen. We'll have to try again. 1 second there.
There.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hang on, I'm going to go that one. Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can, yes. Hello?
How are you? Linda?
Yes, Lavana, are you there?
I am.
Yes, we are here.
Okay. Ladies, first of all, welcome to the show. Lavana, I'm very sorry to have to meet you under these circumstances.
Oh, thank you, Fenton. Thanks for getting Shannon's story out there.
Great. Well, like I say, tonight we're trying to get as much information as possible in relation to your son. Now, first of all, I'm deliberately going into this show blind tonight because I know you've been doing some interviews and I don't want the interviews that you've done in the past to conflict with what I'm doing tonight. So what I will do is I'll ask you some questions and we'll develop the story from there. Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay, first of all, so as we can get a picture, an idea of what your son is like, whose picture's on screen now, can you tell me a little bit about the man Shannon himself?
He had very loyal son. I never had maybe one or two arguments with him his entire life. He's very close to his family, a very supportive person, a huge sense of humor. He loves to tease, a very strong man, good morals, even though, some people might think that, growing marijuana wasn't. He had very strong morals about, his life and how other people should do, don't lie, don't steal, don't,
Sure.
very, very strong morals.
He had
A believer, believed in God.
yeah. So
And his
all
work ethic was wonderful.
great, an all-around nice guy.
Yes, worked very hard.
Okay, now can you tell me, he had an accident which led on to taking medication. What type of accident and what type of medication was it, Siobhan?
Well, he was taking gabapentin, and he was trying to worm his way off of it, like take it for a few days and then not take it because he was just tired of being on it. But he was actually on a job for Haverstock Construction, where he was doing paving roads and driving a dump truck, and he was crossing the street, and a high school student in Eureka, California, hit him and knocked him into the windshield and then threw him a ways. So he had actually, that was the accident he had. He had also had surgeries on both hands for carpal tunnel. One to fix the carpal tunnel, and then that didn't work, so they did an exploratory surgery. And then the third surgery was to actually fix the carpal tunnel that hadn't been fixed the first time around. So he did have a lot of nerve damage.
Okay.
And a lot of back pain.
Okay.
A lot of back pain.
Question for you. Did the medication have any adverse effects that you know of, or any adverse effects that he told you?
No.
Okay. Now, what type of man was he? He's quite a big man. He yo-yoed his weight, didn't he?
He did. Someone said he lost 100 pounds, but he actually had lost closer to 150 pounds. He started cutting back on what he was eating proteins and vegetables, and he got up to walking 10 miles a day and had lost a lot of weight.
Wow.
So, yeah.
What type?
Very determined.
Yeah.
Very determined man.
What type of relationship did he have with his wife?
He was not married. He had a girlfriend, and they had, I believe, broke things off, but he was kind of sweet on the Elon Puno, the one that was one of the partners in the grow. He had actually went up to grow for her, more or less. She asked him if he would, and he agreed to go up there. He had been working for her for, I think, 3 or 4 years prior to that.
Okay, and as far as you know, he wasn't depressed or feeling out of sorts, was he?
No, when I spoke with him last was the night of the 11th, and he told me he was tired and he was anxious to get this over with. There had been a big fire that had gone on a while up there, and he had been there for 8.5 months. And the fire was I think it was in Mad River, Ruth area. and the smoke had blown over to where they were, so they were breathing quite a bit of smoke. He was just kind of over that, tired, had been up there, under not very good circumstances, so he was over it. And he said he was tired, but no, he never told me that he was depressed ever.
Okay, so he went. Let's move forward a bit. He left your home with your youngest. Well, sorry, with his brother. Is that correct?
Yes.
And they went to where? And what was the purpose of them going there?
They went up to. It was him and Thomas and I living in the house. We had a 3-bedroom house there in Fortuna, and he was working with Elon, working on some of her rentals, and then that had graduated to, he was doing that still, but doing some trimming, him and Thomas and one of my daughters, and that graduated to Shannon going up on the mountain to grow. And so he asked if he could take Thomas with him. He didn't want to be up there by himself. It's way out in the middle of nowhere. So that's what they went up to do. They went up to grow marijuana in Ketten Palm, California.
Now, when you say grow marijuana, was this marijuana that was owned by somebody else, and they were just hired to do it?
Actually, yeah, the interview the other night, I didn't get it out. We were having a lot of technical difficulties. I started to butt in, but I felt like, I shouldn't. But the deal was 25% went to Shannon. The rest of it, the 75% of the profit at the end, would go to Elon Puno and Josh Mendes. And they would give him, like, I believe, I'd have to ask Thomas, but I think it was $1,000 they fronted ahead, and then he was supposed to buy supplies and anything he needed for the plants, like different chemicals and stuff you put on it, additives, all that stuff. And then they sold him, or one of their friends sold him a trailer to live in. So he had to come up with that money at the end too. So it ended up, he was supposed to get 25% at the end, and but they were charging him at the end for 50% of everything. They were taking out feed money, you name it. They had a list a mile long of how they were taking 50% of what they were going to give him. It was crazy.
Okay.
It was absolutely crazy.
Okay, and just so
it was so bad. It was so bad I had to buy fuel and stuff for them to be able to make it. They'd have to borrow money from me sometimes so they'd have food and a way to cook it and stuff.
Okay. Now, not that it makes any difference, because it doesn't, and I'm not going to judge anybody. Was what they were doing legal?
No.
Okay. So with that being said, how did they get into that, and how did they know the people, and how did they avail of that opportunity?
I was working at a hardware store in Fortuna, California called Ace Hardware. And my manager at the time and another coworker said that they knew a lady that needed some maintenance done on her rentals and the house that she was buying. And she was either a loan officer or a bank manager at Umpqua Bank in Fortuna at the time. And so they, the coworker knew me and the manager and said, "Does Shannon want a job?" I said, "Yeah, he could probably." So I asked him, and he's like, "Well, I don't know." And I'm like, kind of talking him into taking this job because he could do, he could work on your he could do electrical work, he could do drywall, he could paint, he had done several things with a stepfather, so he knew all of those, how to do all of that. So, and he wasn't working at the time. I thought he might, enjoy having a little money. So I set it up that he goes to work for this lady.
Okay.
And that's how he met her, was me, unfortunately. But I assumed it was just to do maintenance. And then he worked for her for a year or so, and then it was, they're going to go trim her pot or marijuana. And then it was, Josh needs some time off the mountain. How about you go up on the mountain and grow the marijuana, and he
Yeah.
can be down here, have a break, and so that's how that happened.
Okay. Now, did he come home at any point during the time he was away?
He did. Every 10 days to 2 weeks, they would come down. Most of the time, not spend the night even, just come, wash their clothes, get more supplies, buy groceries, and then go back up.
And how did he see him? And did your son go back with him, or did your son stay there?
No, he always went back with Shannon.
And how did he act when he was home? Was he his usual self?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I will get back to you just 1 second. I just want to bring in Linda here for a second. Linda, is there anything that you'd like to read from or update me on?
Yes, I'm going to read from the article that I have found on this.
Okay.
The night Shannon House disappeared in October of 2015, he was working on a marijuana growing operation in Trinity County with his brother Thomas. Thomas was concerned about his brother, who had been demonstrating signs of paranoia for 2 weeks ever since quitting a prescription medication on the evening of October 11th. Shannon seemed quite quiet and deep in thought. Thomas fell asleep and then awoke. His brother Shannon was nowhere to be found. For 8 months, Shannon and his brother Thomas had been growing marijuana on Mina Road, approximately 17 miles south of Kent Pond, California, near the Trinity-Messino County border. The area had multiple grow operations adjacent to each other, conjoined with single-track dirt roads. The domain of 4x4 trucks and quads. In the 2 weeks preceding Shannon's disappearance, he had stopped taking his medication. Shannon's mother, Levana, her son was prescribed the drug gabapentin. Thomas said Shannon began taking the medication after an injury at a worksite, coupled with injuries on each wrist from carpal tunnel. American Addiction Centers described symptoms of gabapentin, which are all that include nausea, dizziness, headaches, insomnia, and anxiety. Thomas reported Shannon exhibiting signs of paranoia when he thought he saw something outside of the trailer window. He was acting just a little off. Along with the paranoia, Shannon experienced insomnia in the 2 weeks before his disappearance. But Shannon hadn't always been this way. He had been very close to his family. He never missed a birthday. He would always remember to call everyone. His mother, Levana, said he loves the ocean, swimming, and fishing. His favorite time to visit the ocean was during a storm. He is a loyal and trustworthy friend and was never too busy to help anyone who needed help. Very thoughtful of others' feelings. She added, I miss him every day.
Okay. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Levana, I'll come back to you in just 1 second, Levana. Just want to tell our listeners that have just joined, tonight's show is about Bring Shannon House Home. We have my co-host, Linda Richardson, and Levana, which is Shannon's mother, who's setting the stage and letting us know about the type of character that her son was. By all accounts, a very jovial, happy-go-lucky guy who didn't really have any enemies or didn't really fall out with anybody. He was quite skilled. He travelled with his brother to a different part of the country, albeit not too far away from where he lives, to work as a handyman of sorts with some people. Now, Levana, let me ask a question here. In relation to, was there some kind of interaction, or was there did he have a relationship, or did he just get on well with one of the owner's wives or girlfriends?
Yes. Could I just answer the question about the 2 weeks ahead? That was not right. It wasn't correct. He had quit taking it for a few days, and then he would take it because he was having trouble sleeping. So then he would go back and start taking it again. So that's totally. I think that was written by Matt Lefevre, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. or Mendocino, Voice for Mendocino or something. Yeah. Every time we do one of these interviews, if you're not on the phone, it seems like, because it was text messages back and forth for 3 weeks. So he was talking to Thomas and I, but there were a few things wrong. That one is one of them.
Okay.
The paranoia and stuff that happened the day that he went missing, when he saw someone walking by the window. That was that day.
Okay, I'm just a devil's advocate for the moment. Is it possible?
Gotcha.
Is it possible that he had smoked marijuana that day?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's all right.
Oh, of course, of course.
Well,
He smoked. He smoked marijuana all the time.
well, then
Yeah.
he wouldn't really be paranoid because of the marijuana. So otherwise, he would be saying that all the time. So that's something that can be ruled out in my mind. And that's not the
Okay.
cause. That wouldn't be the cause for him being paranoid. But tell me now about this so-called relationship, or what was it, Lavana?
He really, really had deep feelings for Elon Puno. And that's one of the reasons why he agreed to go up there. It's not that he, didn't know what he was doing when it came to growing marijuana, because he had done that to smoke himself for, several years. But he really had, a crush, deep feelings. He really did care for Elon.
And do you think was that reciprocated?
I don't think so. I think he thought it was, and he had been to their house, and because they have a son in common, and they were living in the same house at the time. And prior to that, Josh would be up in the mountains. Shannon would go there with Elon and her friends, and they would like drink, and he would spend the night there, and so.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I've got another question I want to ask. Can you tell about when Thomas was looking for Shannon in the woods and calling his name? There was a group of tree trimmers that were mocking him.
Yeah, it was the grow next door, and they were I guess I spoke with my older daughter too, and while they were searching, because we were all up there crawling up and down the mountain looking all over that property, and several people heard them doing it, not only Thomas and his younger sister, but several other people. They would yell Shannon, and then the people would say Shannon and then laugh, and yeah, they were definitely mocking him.
I think that's just cruelty.
It is.
They do not understand. If there was a loved one missing, like how they are a human being, and for them to mock somebody, that is just uncalled for.
Oh yeah. When we left the fourth day, we left on that Thursday. We all packed up because I said we have to get off this mountain and get someone in the air. And when we left there, that was the hardest thing any of us have done in our lives. I'm sure a couple of us dropped to our knees, knowing that we were leaving him there.
are you?
It's okay, Lavana. It's okay. We're here, girl. We're here.
Take your time. Take your time. He knows.
I'm okay.
He knows you're not leaving him. He knows. He knows. Lavana, when you're ready. In relation to the day you arrived, I remember when I spoke to you briefly during the week in preparation for tonight's show. What was the first thing that the main guy, said to you when you got there?
Josh said to me, he's not on this property.
Did you find that strange?
Yes.
Now,
it was 99 acres.
Okay, and yeah, I find that really strange. Tell me, with him being the owner, has he been investigated?
No.
So
he's the nephew of a Humboldt County deputy sheriff that works in the courthouse in Humboldt County in Eureka. And he has a lot to do with working with the judges with child custody cases and stuff like that. So his uncle's been in it in law enforcement a long time. So I believe that hindered. And they were also friends with a couple other sheriffs. Tom Allman from Mendocino. Elon has her on his friends list. So I kind of feel like it hindered,
Okay.
hindered any justice or any real search, any investigative, nothing, no.
Okay, so just so as we can get this straight, the guy who said that to you about he's not on this property, who's the main guy who owns the property there, said he's not here. He hasn't been questioned or asked anything to your knowledge.
No, only his name and, a few questions the day that they showed up there and asked us our names and, kind of got a short story of what went on. They looked inside the trailer that Thomas and one of them, Whitman was his name, looked inside the trailer that Shannon and Thomas had stayed in. But they didn't ask to look into Josh's other trailers, any of his outbuildings, in his vehicle. They didn't ask they got into Shannon's truck and searched, but they didn't go off looking or call a search party. A couple people were there in a Sidewinder to search, but Officer or Detective Ward decided there wasn't going to be a search, so they left. They just asked a few questions, said there'd be a flyer, said to my sister-in-law, "'Tis the season," kind of laughed and left.
Lovely. And do you think that he knows about them growing marijuana?
The detective?
Yeah.
Of course. They drove right through the grow. The grow was to the left of them, where the pond was, where Josh's trailers were, and then you take a right to go up to the trailer where the boys were.
So let me get this.
Absolutely, yes. Yes.
I need to get this clear in my head. This guy had the neck to drive through that, knowing that it was there. He met you, and did he have any other officers with him?
Yes, it was Detective Ward, W-A-R-D, and Detective Whitman, W-H-I-T-M-A-N, I believe.
Okay.
They worked for Trinity County Sheriff's Department.
And how long ago was it since you've seen or heard from them?
Oh, I can't, besides 6 months after when they came to get my DNA in case they found Shannon's body, I would always have to initiate the calls.
Yeah.
I still initiate the calls.
Okay, and
I'm the one that has to.
Is the case actively open?
Yes, it's supposed to be.
Okay, so I'm just for the listeners, I'm just throwing this up in the air. We've got a guy who your son was working for, both sons were working for. They were down to do initially to do some handiwork. Then they were asked to help with the weed grow. Your son Shannon disappeared. How long was it before he was reported missing?
The following day, I called.
Okay. And did your son have any idea whatsoever about where he might have been?
My younger son?
That was down with him?
No. He said he looked everywhere. And I agree. We spent Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday up there until Thursday morning searching the property too. My girls and my son and myself, my Shannon's aunt and uncle.
That brings me to my next question.
Okay.
It showed in the article that Thomas and Angie and his younger sister and brother were searching on the quad, and they were stopped by a man that introduced himself only as Tim.
Yes.
And he told them, he told them that they had better not contact search and rescue, or the whole mountain would go crazy. Who is Tim? Can we ever find out who Tim was?
No, I never found out who Tim was. I drove over to Weaverville, my oldest daughter and I, and we went into the clerk's office, and I got maps of who owns which plots of land, because there's not really houses up there. You just go lease the property and then you grow marijuana on it. So I got names of each person, and I had my youngest daughter send postcards to each landowner and trying to figure out if we could, please, any rumors, any information, please, let us know who they may have leased the land to or anything. And no, nothing back. Nothing.
Well, I can assure you, I will be doing my digging.
Okay.
And if that area is listening, know that we will keep digging.
Thank you.
Just to touch on something else. So there was people renting property, renting land off these people, and they were growing their own marijuana. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's big money in that area. You pay a certain amount of money to lease the property for the season. Lots of people, if they don't own the property, they just pay, several $1,000s to be able to grow. And the landowners know what's going on. Everybody just kind of keeps it in their pocket, and it's cash. So everybody makes, a little money off of it. So that's, Josh, he owns that piece of property where Thomas and Shannon was. He is the landowner.
Okay, and so these people that were actually up there, have any of them been questioned?
No.
Yeah, this is all very, 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 very peculiar. There's a name for that mountain.
Oh, I find it. Oh, and I find it even more troubling. The officers up there,
Yes.
their comments, "'Tis the season."
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's their morals and where's their behavior in this? Come on. They're
Right.
supposed to be law enforcement. They're supposed to be they have a care of duty to these people.
Exactly.
Where's the professionalism?
None.
None, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And we know the history of what they call that area, Murder Mountain.
Yeah, not too far from there.
Yep. Oh, I'm going to be doing some digging.
Okay.
I hope they hear me.
I want to just finish up with something, Levana. First of all, for those that are joining late, I'm speaking to Levana, the mother of Shannon House, who's missing. Now, first of all, I want a couple of quick fire questions, if I can, Levana, just so those that are listening can catch up. So just a sort of very quick fire questions. What age was your son?
39 at the time.
Okay, and where did he live originally?
Fortuna, California.
And he moved to what area where he was working in?
Hetton Palm, California.
And he was there for how many months?
8.5 months.
Okay, for those that are listening that may live in that area, or may know somebody in that area, or may have rented property in that area, it's really important that you do the right thing if you've got any information. Just to sort of wrap up, Levana, in relation to this woman, was she questioned, this woman that he liked?
No.
Was she upset? Did you meet her?
She was upset when she thought she might, when I called the police, she thought, and her father too, were so upset because they thought she was going to lose everything. She kept saying, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose my business. It's going to cost me everything. She went on so much when I was getting a ride up to this point to call the police where we could get some reception, that her friend that was driving told her, Elon, enough. He's a human being and his mother is sitting in the back seat.
Yes, too right.
So, yeah, no feelings that I saw, except worried about herself and her money,
That is awful.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, what we're going to do is, I'm going to make a bit of a plan. We no doubt will be able to find the numbers for the police station. Who may have a number for this gentleman that owns that property?
I texted you his phone number the other night when I was talking to you.
I didn't receive it for some strange reason. It didn't. But you can give it to Linda,
Okay.
if you could give it to Linda, because what I think we should do is we should ask the police why he wasn't questioned, and in fact, why that woman wasn't questioned. In fact, why everyone that owns land in that area weren't questioned. I mean, it's common sense.
Exactly.
If you go into a little village, go into a little village and there's people, there's 200 people living in the village, you don't interview 199, not interview the last one. It makes no sense.
Exactly.
what I will say to you is that wherever he is, alive or deceased, he will know and feel, trust me, what you're going through. And for somebody to be carrying this burden around for such a long time, you're doing really well. You've come into a group of people who really 100% are behind you, 100% with you. And I include myself in this. We want to open ourselves to you at any time if you want to discuss or talk about anything. We will take these names and we will investigate. And if there's anything, and I mean anything that we can find out, we will be straight on to you and fill you in. I know you'll be liaising with Linda, who will update me as things go.
So yes. Thank you.
I'd like to.
Fenton, I would like to tell you the name of the detective that's handling the case now because it's been moved. His name is Josh Ford.
Okay.
He's at Trinity County Sheriff's Department.
Josh Ford.
So Josh Ford, yes. That's who you would speak with.
Well, listen, my best regards to you and all your family. I do hope that you get information that will leave your mind at peace. You're a very good woman. I'd be honoured to have you as my mother, Lavana.
Thank you so much.
You're
You
very
stay
welcome.
strong. You know all of us are here and we're going to keep at this. You know it.
I do. Thank you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
hanging in there, girl.
Linda, I'll touch base with you later.
Okay.
Thank
Will
you.
do.
Thank you, Fenton.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome. You're very welcome. God bless now.
God bless you. God bless.
Thank you.
Bye for now, sweetie.
Now, folks, that's a very moving interview tonight. Tonight we were talking about a missing man, Shannon House. Folks, we'll be sharing this on all networks across the United States, and we actually need your help to try and find this man. He's been missing for a couple of years. His family are waiting to get him home, or at least get information that they need to put this story to rest. My name's Fintan Cullen. I'm the host of the world's first and only weekly episodic missing persons talk show. Tonight was a special program about Bring Shannon House Home. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching this on rerun anywhere, please share. Take care till next time.